this computer. All right. So, Dr. Dyer, actually it's Paul W. Dyer, has blessed me and graced me to allow me to interview him. Dr. Dyer, you are literally the first person that is actually on my channel, on my show, and I'm interviewing. So honestly, it really is a tremendous honor that you've let me do this. So I'm gonna wing this thing and try to do it the right way. Not like you, who's been interviewing some, you have more practice than I do.
Well, yeah, because I've always liked radio. So, or it's the information process. It's not just, we always looked at that interviewing thing as when we were growing up as that 2020 Barbara Walters type.
Yes.
Right? That hard-hitting something. And it's not about that. It's not about exposing anything. Right. I think it's just about sharing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited. For some of the people who are not aware, I actually just did an interview with Dr. Dr. Dyer wanted to interview me. Okay? Me.
Yes.
So he blessed me and had me on his podcast called Bridges. And that Bridges podcast, you also have it on Apple, right?
Apple, yep, I do. Apple, iHeart. I think it's actually broadcast on all podcasts.
Yeah, and he wanted to do me. This is like, okay, all right. I'ma just anyway. So there were some feedback that I had gotten from some viewers that really were interested in you expanding on the concept, because you say you know the science behind energy. But before we get into that,
are you going to sing? You can sing.
You know what? In my mind, I really feel like I'm a blend between Fantasia, Patti LaBelle, but I'm probably more like, Steve Urkel probably, but
I don't know. I have an ear for music, and that was a pretty sustainable note there.
Okay, look, I can hit one or two notes. Let's see about longevity and hitting a couple of multiple notes. That's how records are made.
That's the difference. that's how stars are born, right?
Okay, look, I always say I just want to be a one-hit wonder. Like, I'm not trying to do a whole lot. I just want to come out one time with a one good hit, and then 6 months later, I'm coming out with the remix, and I'm Gucci. I'm getting out the game. Okay, I just want to get in and get out. They can talk about me on one of them shows, talking about where are they now. Look, I just got in, and
I'm good. I'm in and out.
I'm in and out. So Dr. Dyer, please share, because you have so many accolades and you have so many different things. Why are you called Dr. Dyer? Talk to us.
Well, it's the living science. We when we talked on the podcast that you and I did, Amber, that it's about energy, right? And you being a psychic, and I do want to go back into more of that also about what it is to be a psychic.
Yeah.
We've always known. So the question is how and why? Well, from the beginning, martial sciences has always been a part of my life, right? So martial arts, and what the martial arts does in the Eastern philosophy, or in the rest of the world, not the Western philosophy, meaning the United States, has been bastardized, right? And most martial artists do know that, because it has always been about the stars, the earth, the planet, the revolutions of all things that matter, right? Matter meaning the science of matter, the atomic structure, right?
Right.
So it's been a study of that through the Indians, through any person on the planet in its historical back has studied what it is to be alive. That's just what it's been. Now, when we get into what we call our educational ages, like the 12th and the 13th centuries, things start to maturate into different avenues of what it is, what it wasn't, the definitions of things.
Right.
And then they broke it up. They broke it up from the living sciences. They broke it up into the biology or the physics or the mathematics, or
Right.
even the Englishes, or even the earth sciences of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when people delved into that and made was what well, we can't get into what religion started it, what they wanted religion started it, where they wanted it to be.
Right.
But then the health sciences took pieces. Well, we call it the brain science, the mind science, the heart, and all that was all one. It has always been all one. And I get it. Studying that is like, are you kidding me? It's like all of it? Yeah. But if you look at it, all of it as a unit,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's where our trouble has been, that we've broken up ourselves.
Right.
We separated our heart, our body, our mind, our spirit, our soul. The soul that's been traveling for the beginning, the Omega, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been traveling. We
Right.
are soul travelers. Now, so when you get into the science, so martial arts has been always that. So as I studied that, and then I was in the service and seeing a lot of death, and also having death on my side too, even causing situations that I thought about taking my own life,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that living takes a practice.
Yeah.
Even understanding what you could do, should do, would like to do, because my mother had cancer, natural health cured her cancer. She lived to be a long age in her life.
Wow.
So I understood what the natural health was for, about, and could do.
Mm.
But knowing something, it's not the same as doing.
Doing.
And not very few of us do, because then we try to, and this goes back into our Black culture, which we've been trying so long to assimilate, and we felt so separated.
Right.
And it has a lot to do with, so if you start studying just historical issues,
Mm-hmm.
not just black, white, but man on earth, human on earth,
Mm-hmm.
we separated ourselves.
Yes.
And there's not a natural culture on this earth that wouldn't say that if we just come back to the earth, we wouldn't have this much troubles that we're having now with the earth as our respondent of who we are. Like we have so many things that's just not healthy.
And and not only, I believe, sorry to interrupt you, but we wouldn't have as many issues with the earth, and we wouldn't have as many
Right.
issues as we have in our health.
Right.
For real. And I'm really starting to get more conscious and aware of what I eat. I ain't trying to say I got it down, but I've shifted different things, like I use coconut oil instead of,
Right. Right.
that. So I'm in that zone. But you're right. The more we go back to nature on all levels, it's good for the earth, it's good for us.
So I'm a prolific reader, studier, and wanting to like dive into the shallow end and just swim. And that's how I learned and start to learn and begin to learn from the mathematical science to astrophysics to physics to it's just metaphysics, which is the study of all things, right? The health sciences have been in part of health, and I love the body and how it speaks, and that's why I've gotten into natural health. The body talks to us, and we have lost our communicational ear with our body. And because we lost our communicational ear with our body's been always talking to the earth.
Right.
And so we did not understand that language, and we disconnected our internal ear, that soulful ear, that spiritual ear.
Absolutely.
So in short, to get on religion, right? We've lost God.
Right.
Right? We lost the word of God.
Right.
We lost the teachings of the universe. We lost the teaching of the stars. We lost the teaching of the earth. We lost the teaching of all things that make us who we are, which is all connected to matter. So that goes back to the science of things. So when people say, and when I say teach the science of living sciences, I do teach how it is affecting you emotionally in the body, cellularly, biologically, physics, motion, vibration. Sound is vibration. Vibration is motion. So all things move in that that's funny. Things move in that matter. Matter, but matter. It moves in that matter.
Right.
And that's how cells rejuvenate, generate, and oscillate.
Right.
It also degenerates. It also breaks down and dies.
Right.
Wow. I mean, so when people say, why aren't I feeling well? Sometimes they say, well, what are you feeling in your body? Because your body holds, we're coming up on this season of Christmas, our body holds information like old Christmas cards.
Right.
It remembers when it happened.
Right.
It doesn't have the timestamp like we think it should, but it has the memory of the experience.
Right.
Because we feel it on a cellular level, whether it be internet, it doesn't matter, anything. So happy to traumatic sadness.
Right.
The cells respond to it because of the vibration, and it remembers the code.
Right.
It also remembers ancestral genetic connection codes from our ancestral past.
Wow.
From all the beginning. That's where we can say our ancestors speaks to us, because it speaks to us through the vibrational code, through genetic structure, through the soulful universal structure. There's things reverberating from the beginning. We can connect to that. That's where, when you start to see different teachings of the movement of like Qigong or Tai Chi or any other healing motion of movement, we're connecting with that breath alliance with all of those energies that has just been banging at the gong for us to be like, wake up.
Exactly.
Wake up. Awaken yourself, right?
Right.
And the distractions that we've had, and I don't really want to get into the distractions, but the noise and the hatefulness, the disagreement, the whatever you're going to have, it keeps you separated from your own internal ear.
Yes.
Did that answer your question? Because I know sometimes I can get into a tangent.
But it was all relative and it was all good. And so I love learning more about you and what you know and your knowledge and how you think and how you feel. And it's funny because you've given me the prelude to a question that I definitely am getting ready to ask you, which is, for me personally, I feel a shift in consciousness right now. Like I feel like we are in a period of awakening. I find that people who didn't know they had psychic abilities before are starting to come into awareness of them. I feel that people as a whole, and of course it's not everybody, but I feel it so palpable and tangible that people who even with our, like you said, our food and our eating and green and veganism and vegetarianism, I just feel like there is an awakening of consciousness. And how
that's happening, right?
Yeah.
Well, two things. So, and I'll keep this really super brief because Sirius is a star. Some people know it, some people don't. But Sirius is our sister star. It's actually our sister sun. It in galactic terms, Sirius is coming closer to us. Now, if you go back into what you call because we go through this cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Yu-Gi-Oh cycle, which is 24,000. Some people say it's roughly 25,000. But in this cycle where Sirius was spinning further away, we called it the Dark Ages.
Mm.
Those Dark Ages had a lot of war where people became dominant over. We have been moving out of those Dark Ages into the Golden Age, which means the stars coming closer to us. So it's coming closer to its sister sun.
Okay.
So that means that those two fields, which is hydrogen and nitrogen, it pulls stronger. So there's a lot of energetic pull going on in the universe.
Okay.
So people, if they want to become awakened, they will. If people who are sick will be sicker. So because things are becoming stronger. It's kind of almost like think of the philosophy of the full moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's different types of moons. There's different types of full moons.
Right.
So, but when that energetic field of the moon is in the earth, we know it affects the waves, right?
Right.
Well, it affects all things. It affects the trees, plants, all of it. Farmers knew this forever, right?
Right.
If it affected everything organically, and we are of organic matter, you can see how the connections coming into why it has, could, would, and does affect us as humans.
I can dig that. And now let me ask you this,
Yeah.
based upon what you said. So like you said, people who are sick will get sicker. People who are getting awakened will become even more conscious and awake. Do you feel also that the shift is also shifting because it's trying to, for lack of a better word, recalibrate itself? Like, because there, like you said, there's been so much, sorry, my phone's talking, because there's so much disconnect. So meaning, you know, just like when our ecosystem is off,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and then we start having, can't tell the seasons from the summer, from the winter, and the things.
Right.
Do you also feel that this shift that's happening is happening so that we can get back in alignment? I'm not saying it the way I want to say it, but I always feel like the homeostasis will always shift itself back into balance.
Absolutely.
So do you feel or think that with the shift that's happening of consciousness, that it is, some people may experience a lot of hell breaking loose right now in their lives, but that is the shift trying to get us to spiritually or mentally awaken and be where we're supposed to be?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think you asked it perfectly, especially when you said homeostasis, meaning a state of abstinence. I mean, a state of nothing before you go into the growth, right? So absolutely, because life is so important, but it doesn't mean we take away from the death that's also important.
Right.
The degeneration of life doesn't mean that we pass over, right? That's the term pass on.
Right.
It's been around since the 3rd century. Pass on means pass on to the next level or to the next state of existence.
Right.
Us humans, we're very emotionally disconnected, so we emotionally want what we want, and that's because then that itself creates a sad state, right? But if we when we align ourselves with what life is doing with us, as we align it right with us, or we with it, then we're never sad. We're never really happy, but we are in this beautiful bliss of balance.
Right.
So to answer your question, you're spot on. Yes, I think we're balancing out. But then again, this is cyclical. So it's going to change again in our lifetime. I don't know. You know, um, it goes through these cycles. I don't think this is the last time we've been through this cycle, and I don't believe this is the first time we're going through the cycle. I think we'll go through the cycle again. You and I may not be on this particular planet, but yeah, we're definitely going to go through this again, and other planets have gone through this. Absolutely.
Well, that's beautiful. And what I love about it is because you do know the science behind it. You have researched it. This is what you do.
Yes.
And me, who is psychic and really just speaking from a spiritual place and an empathic place, not having the researched or the knowledge base education to back up what I'm saying, it's good to know that I'm tapped into the point that what I feel is very real, and it's not just in my head, because I feel it, like I said, very palpable to me. So that's beautiful confirmation for me.
You know, when it comes to the science of things, science was never against the organic of life, the psychic or the holistic approach. It was never against it. It was trying to explain it. It was because it was happening. Mm-hmm. So science tries to explain things. And the thing about the problem I have with science is the only problem I have with science or scientists, not science itself, because science means study. So I don't have a problem with the study of, right? But scientists seems to want to confirm something that they want to opinionize. And that's easy to do with anything, right? You can confirm something you want to believe.
Right.
So yeah, but so I'm sure people are like, well, Dr. Paul, well, the things you read, you just wanted to believe what you read and all that stuff, right? Okay. I have no doubt about that until I show you in your physical form how your life is affecting you mentally, emotionally, and how it affects the body. People can go through all these tests in the world, right? You can go through a meridian, because we do this in martial sciences all the time. Mm-hmm. We study the body and how strong it is. Mm-hmm. We study the body and how weak it is. Mm-hmm. Because the body is made up of tissue, of bone and blood, and right, mm-hmm. and lines of meridian. You know, there's lines running through your body, like nerve lines, and how different points affect it, and how your body affects your different organs, and how it affects your movement and your balance. If you're angry, most people know if a person's very, very angry, they probably have a bad liver. Liver has the angry part of the body, you know, and it's, you know, you can do the other thing. So you can help heal those organically and naturally if you knew that the liver is being affected, and the liver affects what? The blood, and how it filters the blood. And then so you can trace all this back to just your body part and how it's unbalanced. Mm-hmm. That's science. That's not something I want to believe. That's just, we've been doing it for years in the medical field, right?
Right.
So your body also is affected by the food you eat. We talked about that, by the food you eat or the food you don't eat. Mm-hmm. Where your natural habitat is from. You know, most African Americans shouldn't be eating foods that Caucasians eat. Our bodies don't respond to it the same way. Most men cannot eat foods women eat, because our bodies don't respond to it the same way. You know, we don't respond. We are organically different in every way. You just got to know how your body is responding to what it is and how you're living.
Right.
So see how this circles back into the science of understanding oneself, understanding how it affects the body. Then you can understand how you want to move the body to what you are developing.
Right.
You know, most people have developed their body from a condition of environment things they're taught, things they experience, their emotions, right? And their energy.
Right.
And they don't know none of it.
That's deep. So I hope that I can say this the right way, because what I want you to talk about now, someone, excuse me, someone mentioned this to me.
Bless you.
Thank you so much. I have a weird talent. When I cough, people say bless you because they think it sounds like a sneeze.
Yeah.
I'm 48. It's happened to me so many. I just take all those bless yous and put it in my back pocket now. I don't even correct people no more. But this is what I wanted you to talk about, if you can, because again, you have the knowledge base and the education to go with this. So I'm going to say it in a couple of different ways so that you truly get what I'm saying. I would like for you to talk about the difference between religion, which I believe is opinion, right? Religion versus spirituality, and why, what are the differences, and then the science behind spirituality. Because spirituality, my understanding, is backed by scientific principles.
Yes.
So I'd love for you to talk about that, because you have the facts.
Well, this is really, religion's real quick.
Isn't it though?
Yeah, it's going to be really quick. The information of this one is going to be really quick. Religion, man-made.
It's opinion.
Done.
So when people say it's fact, it's real, no. It's this.
No. Now, if you want to go with the word of God and things, and then say, well, the word of God or the word of Christ, the word is religion, I'm going to say, well, no, that's where you split it. I've been a practicing Buddhist for a long time. And one of the things that is such an old saying that the Dharma is everything, but once you speak of Dharma, it's nothing.
Okay.
So why do you think that is?
I don't even know what Dharma is, to be honest.
Dharma means the all things. It means all things encompassing. Right?
Okay.
Everything, right? So, but once you speak of the whole existence of existence, the existence means nothing. Once you speak on it, then you don't understand it.
Right, because it is all encompassing, and when you're speaking on it, you are trying to define it and put it into a package.
Right, and that's where it's lost.
And that's where it's lost. I got it.
Okay, so religion is that. It's lost because it's been trying to be defined. Now, the question comes up, they say, Amber, Dr. Paul, then how do you speak on it? First, let's speak less and feel more. Let's do that. And then express your feelings. Speak less, feel more, then express your feelings, because then when you express your feelings, you are tapping into who?
Right.
Yourself. Not what the other is. And that's what I love to try to teach people. I always tell my students, I just want to shine a light. You still got to walk through your darkness. I'm not going to shine a path for you. I need to help you turn on your light.
Right.
So you can see, not see what I see.
Right. Because
if you start seeing what I see,
then you're not seeing.
Then you're still blind, right?
Right.
And if I don't notice that you have not turned your light and you're only walking with the light that I'm shining, then it becomes that religion.
Right.
And you don't have it for yourself.
Right. Right. So the science behind spirituality.
Okay,
governed by the principles, right?
Right. Spirituality is governed by what you call natural law. and we, the term law, I'm sorry, it's so definitive, meaning that it is and it isn't. Well, natural law is pretty much is and it isn't. You pour water, because our gravitational principles on this planet, on this blue planet, it goes down, right? That's a natural law, right? Once it has preparation and expires, it goes up into a gas. That's what I mean by natural law. So we can only refer to the natural laws on this planet. Okay, so excuse me for my ignorance about other planets.
That's okay. And please, let's say, what do you deem, what is spirituality?
Yes. So spirituality is the essence of all things in you, connected to all things outside of you.
Beautiful.
That's spirituality. So to explain it is everything that you are, you're connected to everything outside of you also. And I teach spirituality this way. Spirituality is the connection to all things. All things.
Right.
All things meaning all things made of matter. All things are matter made of little atomic nuclear cells. All things.
Now, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I want to ask you something because you said that. Now, based upon what you said of being connected to all things and around, that's how I define energy.
Yes, because everything has an energy.
Right.
Everything, doesn't matter what it is. Everything on this molecular level has energy. This pen has an energy to it.
Yes.
It has energy. Once you break down the molecular structure, you got those little guys doing its little things. Some are a little bit slower, and that's why it's hard. Right. That's why steel is steel. It's slow molecular structure, but it's still a structure.
See, I always thought that spirituality was a consciousness and awareness, but energy is what connects us to the source, connects me to the plants, connects me to the trees, connects me to animals. So, but you're saying that energy is the same definition as spirituality.
Yes.
Okay, and I've always thought they were separate.
No, it's the same. Now, consciousness, well, humans have the great ability to be subconscious and conscious, right?
Yes.
And the thing is that when you're subconscious, that means you're not fully connected to your subconscious is moving, and you're not consciously understanding what's going on. Okay. That's why when we talk about awakening someone in their hemispheres, in their brain hemispheres, humans are the only things on this planet that can know what they are. We're the only things on this planet that can understand what exactly is what I am. This will never know it's a pen. A dog will never know it knows its living principle, but it doesn't understand what it is, right? We humans know exactly what we are, where we're going, what we can go from, and our language is limitless because, of course, brain power, blah, blah, blah. But spirituality, a consciousness is connected to spirituality, and that's where we become aligned with our powers. Once you start connecting to your own inner self, consciously, meaning of thought.
Yes.
Not of wonder.
Right. An awareness.
Of intentional thought.
Right. Which my slogan for my business, and I teach my mentees, I always say, begin within.
Yes.
That's all you need to do. And like I said, I feel like so many people put spirituality on the back burner. And it's like, well, I don't have time for that right now.
Well, that's because I think that's because they connect the spirituality to a religion.
Hmm.
I think
I think people who are not, some people, like, for lack of a better word, some people are comfortable. I won't say like. Some people I feel are comfortable in their subconscious conscious, right? Like the blue or the red pill. Some people just don't care to know.
no, maybe I'm just so hopeful about this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they know that they don't know.
Hmm.
I just don't believe. I don't believe they really know. And what I mean by that, I'm not just talking about a thought process.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go back to that thing. Understand what you are feeling first
Mm-hmm.
and explain that. Not understand what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Understand what it feels.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're lost. Because when you start thinking, we can go back into religion.
Mm-hmm.
Because for you to be spiritually, you have to go with what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And once you and people say, "Well, I don't know what I feel." Well, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will,
Right.
but it's like picking up the telephone and say, "I'm calling someone."
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you know they haven't picked up yet? Because I don't hear anything. Well, there it is.
Right.
Stay on the line until you hear you,
Right. Exactly.
until you feel you.
Mm-hmm.
Those take a practice. Now it goes back into the living sciences. Understand your breath, understand how it moves within the body, understand how your bones feel, muscles feel, how the blood flows through, how you're sleeping, digestion. All those things are talking to you about your connection to oneself.
Mm-hmm.
Taste buds, the way your hair falls out, the way it doesn't fall out, how strong it is. All these things, your body's chemically speaking chemically to you.
Right.
That's the science of the body. And once you understand how your balance is or is not, then
Mm-hmm.
you can start directing it, right?
Right.
pH balance, what feeds cancer, the different sugars and the different alkalines in the body, right? So now you can see it go back into this science part. But holistically, it means for you to understand your body. That's what I do. I teach you how to understand your body.
Right.
It's not a miracle,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Right. And that's like me. I teach people how to tap in. I
Yeah.
teach people how to listen. Exactly what you said. Listen to that voice that guides you, that helps you in your spiritual sense. And the reason why I said what I said is because now that I've been working with people trying to teach them to tap in, they're
Mm.
very, I know I have a gift, I want to do this. And then you give them the tools, and a lot of them are not committed. They're not committed to meditating, they're not committed to doing what needs to be done. And then it's like, and I'm saying to them, okay, so how have you been doing? Well, to be honest, I've just been working a lot. And so therefore it's like, I got a lot going on in my life and I'm going to get to it. And that's why I'm saying some people are comfortable being where they are, although they know that they could choose to go to the next level. They're choosing to stay in that comfort zone. They're
Well,
not really committed to that growth. Not
so Amber,
everybody.
let me ask you this question then. And
Mm-hmm.
and this is probably sometimes I ask them the same question. If they're not committed, is it truly their choice?
I think it is. I think it's a conscious choice.
Well, here's where I throw that brick into that little spoke wheel.
Okay.
I think if they don't know, they truly are not choosing. it goes back to their conditioning, what they've been taught, all those constructs they've developed are doing all the subconscious working, right? All that is doing the living for them. And you're right, the consciousness does not know that those threes are what's been playing over and over. And so if it is, then it isn't their choice. They truly are not choosing.
I can dig it.
You see what I'm trying to say now?
I can dig it.
Yeah.
Or they're just not ready.
It's like,
or they're just not in a place.
They're just not.
They're just not. And I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Just on the flip side, I just feel like don't waste my time. But I get it. You know, and it's kind of like I'm here when you're ready, holla. I gotta keep on keeping on.
It's like you can ask a person. Someone says, "Well, Dr. Paul, how do you know when someone's ready?" I said, "Well, let me ask you a question. How do you choose?" And I ask people what they like, whether it be a sports team or a car, or, and they say, "Well, how do you choose something?" Well, I compare it to this. Well, where do you get your comparison? Well, I remember. So is it your comparison, or you remember someone tell, you know what I mean? So once they start speaking, they can start hear themselves after I feed it back to them that they never had a choice. It was something that my parents liked, my friend liked, and I really trust my friend. And I love my dad, and he would never do anything, and he loved coffee, so why wouldn't coffee be good? You know what I mean? So you've never particularly chosen to drink coffee.
Right.
Not really, because you just said that you remember your father drinking, these elders that you have admiration for. So you drank it.
Exactly.
So when did you choose to drink coffee?
Right.
Well, I see what you're getting at, Doctor. I'm like, okay, again, when did you choose?
Right.
There's a difference between habitual conditional constructs than choice.
Yeah, I can see that. I can absolutely see that.
Yeah.
That's deep. Thank you. I like that. And that is another way to look at it. Like I said, on the flip side of me, holla at me when you're ready. Holla at me when you're ready, because I'm on the next on the next level up. So
now we do know, when do people choose? When do people when do people decide to make a difference? I know personally, it's when life and death is on the line. I cannot do this no more. I will not be that ever again. I am going to build me what I want to be. That is the sad state that most people have to go through that. And I keep asking myself, is there a way to get someone out of where they are without falling apart? And anyone I've ever talked to, that's a tough one.
Yeah, usually people have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
Before change. And it's just like, you have a toothache, right? You do everything in the world not to go get that tooth pulled. But when that pain hits you right, you're running. You're going to be there before they actually open. So yeah, when people are at that level of unhappiness and discomfort or dis-ease, then yes, then people will seek the healing that they need.
And I know that's when I see them, even like with most people come to martial arts or martial sciences or anything that I've ever had a client come to me because they've been sick and tired. Martial arts, I don't want to be picked on anymore, and it's funny because you're being picked on because you've been picking on yourself.
Yeah.
you know, and people just now doing it with you.
Yeah. Outwardly. Yeah.
Outwardly, right.
Mm,
You know, people treat you bad because you've been treating yourself pretty shitty.
that's right.
And people have picked up on what? The vibration. You've
Yeah.
you, you've triggered out, right?
Absolutely.
You've been unhappy and people treat you unhappy because you know we've heard this said before, right?
We teach
What,
people how to treat us.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
You're putting off what you actually getting back.
Yep. And what you think you deserve and
Right.
all of that. And people can sense that and feed off of it. And
Eh,
some people can use that against you.
yeah.
And then some people can use that to help you. You know, it's really a catch 22 on that tip. So that's why I say it all. You just got to begin within and learn to listen. Get
We we
centered and focused.
we have been scientifically studied on brainwave neural connections to energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, you know, people have been, you know, in tune with their lives, and old monks that have been doing this for a long time. They can, you know we can send out brainwave connection to other people. We twins have been doing it forever. You know, if we have all these connectable abilities that we've been dampening
Mm-hmm.
because of self sabotage.
Yeah. What is your thoughts on psychic abilities? What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think it's amazing. I think it's, you know, it's part. It's again, this it's scientifically proven.
Do you believe that everybody is psychic? Do you believe everybody has psychic abilities?
Yes, I do believe everybody has psychic abilities, but here's the caveat to that: if your body is sick, some people are stronger connected to others. If your body is sick, from your mind to your physical body, it'll slow down the connective process to to generate or to receive.
Hmm.
Yes.
And you know, I have always thought the opposite. I believe that everybody has intuition, but I've never believed that everyone is psychic. I've always felt that that is something that, you know, that whomever, I don't want to say a few because there's a lot of psychics in the world, but that I've always believed that certain people are psychics. And but everybody has intuition. And so it's interesting for you to say that.
Yeah, I just think the only way for you to develop that psychic ability is that you must first release a lot of something that you're not that you're holding on to. Do you want to connect to that vibrational field?
I've often said as well that in order to do this work, you can't have darkness inside of you and
No,
be light.
right. So yeah, the only way to be this is to do this. That one takes a lot of work for people. Two, it's fearful. So you've already killed all three-quarters of the population.
Ah, wow. So that's deep. Awesome. Do you yourself feel like you have any psychic abilities? And what are they?
No, I'm empathic. But that takes a lot. I've been empathic for a long time, but here's the pushback from that. I've learned how to seal that because I used to go to supermarkets and be like, whoa, and I'd be like, okay, I can't do this in Walmart. You know what I mean? This is like I need to just. But what I do is allow myself, and I'll go to someone and I'll just give them my heart tone, right? And I'll say, it's not worth it. Just knowing that I felt that they were looking at something very dark.
Hmm.
So give them that good tone to bring them back to the life side, right?
Hmm.
So I will do that, right? Because there's times, you know, there's times with my mala beads and my prayer beads, what I'll be like, or I pray with them every day, and somebody just needs them, and I'll hand them over. Absolutely, because I know what energy it has for me from praying on it, and you know, whatever. So that's why giving it a gift, and I actually learned that from an educational from a Dalai Lama. So we're not meant to keep anything. I mean, it's not like it's sacred to me. It's sacred to all things. So it's just, and they're not even sacred. They're just beads. But I put my energy into them. So sharing that is a gift. So it's like sharing a hug or a handshake or a hello. You know, our voice says a lot. You know, how are you? If you really mean it, it hits them.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, because see, now it goes back into, well, why or how? Vibration. Not just energy. Now I'm intentionally vibrating you. How are you?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not going, hey, what's up? No, I'm intentionally directing my heart vibration to you. How are you?
Right. That frequency is very real.
It's very real. It's there. It's, you know, I wish we could see it. You know, of course, there's some people can't see auras and colors, but I wish everyone can literally see things. I think we would be responded differently. But I think, I think the reason why so many can't see, won't see, it goes back to why so many people aren't psychic or empathic or even have intuition, is because there's so much sickness and disease in their life. They've clogged all those colors and vibrant connections out. So yeah, that's what I think.
I consider empaths to be psychics.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very real above average ability to be able to sense people's energy, because being an empath is about sensing people's energy. That's why you get overwhelmed. You used to get overwhelmed at Walmart because that was a lot of different energy around you. A lot of empaths can't do crowds.
Well, which is in the martial science, the most historical martial artists in you know, people read about martial arts and all this stuff and see those old kung fu movies.
I love those movies.
But those movies, the one thing that people missed was the study of us aligning ourselves with energies in the room when the samurai warrior would look at each other, and they were already in what you call energetic battle. That's why they would just, you could stare at each other because they're already in an energetic battle. The move was the finish. Was the finish, because I will sense your reluctance, weakness, or strength in this field. Right? And in that field, we're both present with our abilities. The physical is nothing.
Right.
But if you are not strong enough to hold me off, then I can weaken you, make you reluctant, and that's where the opening comes in for those killed things. So that's been passed on down for centuries. So developing a good martial artist, or you know, those ninja people talk about the ninjas or the stealth things, but it was about feeling the room. It was about understanding who's got bad intentions, and that's where your enemy is.
Right.
Yeah.
And you made me think of something when you said you find the way in. I think about the saying that says the greatest weapon to the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
That sounds like it's directly in line with that. Well, let me tell you. Go ahead.
I know we could talk forever, but just think that the way that the people broke the slaves faster wasn't whipping them.
Right.
That's a lot. You know, it was about breaking their minds, breaking their minds. And look where we are historically from centuries, right?
Right.
We're still so many broken.
Well, the effects are still being felt.
Yes,
For sure.
absolutely.
Because that was a lot of trauma. So we're definitely going to still feel that vibration in the air for a long time to come, I think, honestly. Because it was just so traumatic for so long, like 600 years. So
Trauma.
600 years of trauma. And it's not even been 300 since.
Right.
It is not going away anytime soon.
So,
But with light workers in the world can help to heal and release some of that trauma in the universe.
do you think some of the questions was you think we answered some of those science questions? I mean, there's so much more to dig into the rabbit hole, I'm sure, but do you think it was answered?
You know, I was wondering about that because I was saying what were the principles that actually govern spirituality? And you did speak about natural law, but
Yes.
what are some of the spiritual principles that govern spirituality? Because I know that they say the law of attraction is one of those, or
Well, that goes, hold on. If you say law of attraction, then it goes back into natural, the answer still goes back into natural law of what balances the other. Right? Because on this planet, there is an opposite oscillation of cells. We have mirror cells, we have, so there are things still magnetically moving of other things. Push, pull, yeah. So there is that science of natural law.
And what are some of the spiritual principles?
You know, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Because when I go into natural law, I start thinking about, so how, when we go and say laws of attraction, how can someone be attracted to the other? Well, you take away their head, let's just take away their thought process, or what their life experiences are. What is their body generating? Right? And the reason why I just want to chop off the head is just because I don't want you to, like, what someone wants to think they are, or what they would like to be, or I just want to go what the body is generating chemically. There is an attraction, pull, and push chemically that the body does. The heartbeat, vibration, its frequency at its own level. It's sicknesses that the body's in, its pains, its aches, all those things. Now we attach the head. Oh my goodness, right? Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I'm so glad that you did this interview. Like you said, we could keep going, but I'm like, okay, this video is getting long, but I love it. I love what you said. I love the knowledge and the wisdom that you brought to it. I hope that people really listen to this and get something out of it. Do you have any questions for me? Because if not, then I'm going to tell you to say how people can reach you.
Well, you know, I think the next thing, and this is the teaser, we're going to put this into a classroom web base. And we'll break this down in a tree sense. We'll start from the base of the tree, spirituality, and we'll branch into roots and in limbs and branches. That's what we'll do.
Cool.
On the science side, and then on the spiritual connection side. So that's what we'll do. Because that's the easiest way to do it. You know, this way people can be like, oh man, because then we're going to break down all the body organs and oxygen and how it connects to the spiritual, which you have the spiritual side of that information, and I can connect through the chemical science side.
Absolutely. Well, that's dope. You're dope. I'm dope. We're dope. And spirituality is dope. Like, I just wish I could have tapped in so long ago. I mean, I just tapped in December of last year, 2018.
But
And mhm,
you think about when you tapped in, right? And when
mhm,
I tapped in, we died from we were killed metaphorically, energetically, of the life we were living,
right, absolutely.
the life we were surviving.
Surviving, I was not living. And
Right.
now I'm so driven.
Yes.
I'm so focused. I'm so passionate. Like I tell people, I eat, sleep, and drink this. This is not a game. I'm not just talking the talk. And I think when people hear me,
Mm-hmm.
they know that I mean what I say and I'm saying what I mean. And
Mm-hmm.
they know that not only am I sharing with them the things that I did personally, what I did would work for me. And I feel like if it worked for me, then I know that it can work for other people. And I'm just like, follow the path. Like, we don't have to recreate the wheel, you know,
No, but
that we can do this. And so anything that's out here on this end, it's important that we are always expanding. As light workers, we always have to stretch ourselves out of our comfort zone to do stuff, because I'm a firm believer, if you can tap into one ability, you can tap into them all. You
right.
just,
It
yep,
has to be across the board. It's not just one thing. And it's funny because I tell athletes the same thing. I'm like, you're training hard to do this.
mm-hmm,
How are you going to relate that to your love life,
right,
to your kids? Do you spend 80 hours with your kids?
right,
You spend 80 hours at work. Yeah, but it's too. So I understand what you're going to say. When was the last time you gave 80 hours to something else?
right. Balance. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Important. Yeah, I'm just so grateful that you did this. Honestly, I'm honored. I'm humble. I appreciate you. I constantly ask the universe to expand my circle of other light workers, other gifted people. Look, I'm gonna call you a psychic. That's just what you do. Well, you remember that one said, "Your mama call you dead. I'm gonna call you dead." I'm gonna call you a psychic, okay? Because you a psychic in my book. Anybody who's empathic is a psychic in my book. So I appreciate you so much. And like I said, do you have anything you want to ask of me or whatever, or anything? And if not, please tell everybody where they can reach you, how they can get a hold of you. And when I do post this video, I'm going to have it under the description, your links to you and everything, but we can just verbally say it as well.
Well, most people can always catch me at drpaulholisticscience.com, and you can reach me from there. It's really easy, drpaulholisticscience.com, and then everything else is connected through there. So the media page, the social page, my podcast, and all that stuff, and so that's really easy. LinkedIn and all the social media stuff, but you can easily catch it through drpaulholisticscience.com.
See, I gotta do it like you. I gotta simplify, because I'm telling you, they have me on shows and they say, where can people reach you? I'm like, you can reach me here at YouTube and it's this name. And then you can go to LinkedIn and it's this name. And if you go to Instagram, it's this name. And if you go to Facebook, I just run it down. So I gotta do like you. Just go to my website.
Yeah, just go to website. Yeah, because then you can click on the LinkedIn, you can click on the YouTube, you can click
Yeah,
on the Twitter, you can click on the Facebook. Yeah, I mean, so because I do have I have different, because how they were set up so many years ago, whether it been Instagram, the names are different. Like Dakota Dragon Defense, a lot of people has touched me through there because of my martial arts background and all that stuff. It's really great, but it really just all encompassing all what I've been doing anyway. So yeah.
that's dope. Thank you so much, Dr. Dyer, for coming on this and being my number one first
Oh,
interview.
like I said, we'll do this differently and your interviews differently, but we'll just set up a class. Really, just a webinar class where people can come in and ask the question. Because when I do my webinars, this is the other thing. When I do webinars and lectures, if I do it in a group, it's got to be general. But if you ask me something specific about you, then we can cater to what you're doing and how you're developing. Remember, I can only help you shine the light so you develop your own light. So when it's a class, it's almost have to create like almost a basic structure. But when people have that question, they're like, well, what happens when this happens? I'm like, but this happens to you that way, where over here, Jane, doesn't happen that way.
Right.
And it's not because it's so obscure or different, because we're mentally look at things perceptually different. So we break down things internally different.
Right.
That's why martial sciences and martial arts is such a long journey, because each student learns and walks and breathes differently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Dyer. I appreciate you. I'm already, you know, you've got a piece of my heart, honestly. I'm just like, I love what you do. Keep shining your light. Keep doing what you're doing. And this is not the last time. This probably, we gonna do a lot more of these. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have you back. You're gonna be just like Oprah had somebody that used to, like Montel always had Sylvia on. She had a permanent seat. You're gonna have a permanent seat on this show. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, dear.
All right.